thank you for joining us this morning at the AI Developer Workshop. I'm Laura, and I'm a product manager at Magnolia. It's great to see you here today because we believe it's you, our clients and partners, that are going to make AI shine in our projects. Whether you are hands-on today or just seeing it for the first time, in the upcoming session, we have something for all of you. This morning, we'll hear from our solution and education team, who will show you how we are bringing AI into the real-world use cases and technical deep dives. Then you can use your laptops for the hands-on session. In the next few minutes, I will start by giving an overview of our AI strategy and the business value that we want to bring with the AI. Then we go deeper into the architecture, development options, and demos from our experts. Just for the agenda and the timings, after the technical session today, we run a Q&A, and then we'll have a quick break. Finally, it'll be your turn to shine with our AI with the hands-on workshops. So I'm going to just kick it off, and let's dive straight into the business introduction. And what I want to do with you is review our key pillar for the AI strategy. These 5 pillars define how Magnolia is evolving to meet modern content and experience demands. With AI embedded naturally into our platform, we build on our core strengths like API-first delivery, federated workflows, and real-time insights. With API-first architecture, we mean that Magnolia is designed to integrate with your tools and with your chosen tech stack. For example, when we talk about AI, you can choose your own LLM, and Magnolia connects to it seamlessly. AI-driven workflow is where the real shift will happen. We are not anymore just talking about AI for content generation. Here is where we are embedded into execution and eventually decision-making flows. It's all about turning insights into actions automatically. With federated workflows, we target clients with distributed teams or regional teams. With Magnolia, enabling decentralized content creation and creating an ecosystem where you can share data and resources without any friction. With data-driven intelligence, we want to support capturing and acting real-time content performance. This will be about creating responsive content strategies tied to the actual business impact you want to get out. AI is pivotal in this area. And last but not least, let's remind ourselves about the flexibility Magnolia offers with hybrid cloud and on-premise support. So if you want on-premise for compliance or the want cloud for speed, Magnolia and its AI features will work for both deployments. So now, let's see how this translates to our AI approach within Magnolia. Our goal is to help you, our customers, who choose AI to move from manual content workflows to AI-assisted workflows and eventually to agentic AI, where AI can take on more responsibility like executing tasks, reviewing content, and reacting to signals from other systems. Unlike others, we want AI to not feel like a plugin. With our AI design system, we ensure every AI feature looks and behaves like part of Magnolia, from UI to workflows and the UX. The AI experience will be smooth, scalable, and recognizable, with offers still keeping the control. So let me just take a moment to talk you through the journey of our AI that started a few years ago. The evolution is still moving, and we do that with purpose. Magnolia already offers AI capabilities like image recognition, text classification, and automatic translation, supporting the current editorial tasks. With the AI Accelerator, we've already entered the AI-assisted phase with a strong focus on generative features. The AI Accelerator helps editors to work faster, whilst remaining in control of both the content and their workflows. We'll dig deeper in the current features in a minute, but before, I want to tell you what's coming next. because we're now entering the world of AI-powered workflows. Here is where AI starts handling more orchestrated, repeatable tasks. It's not yet about a full automation for us. It's about extending what teams can do with AI working in the background to support operations, while leaving the key decision to the authors. So before I hand it over to Chris, let me talk about a bit the current AI capabilities, and Chris will then show you use cases that you can apply to real world scenarios. So on this slide, you can see how the AI accelerators, together with other existing AI-powered features, is already delivering value today with Magnolia. These are features, all of them, that you can already use in your project. So with the AI assisted content creation, AI helps to generate from components to entire stories and even pages. The idea here is that you're still being in control of the content, but AI puts you on a fast track to get you started. With our AI-powered generation, image generation and editing, you can create visual assets on the fly based on prompts. You can also add them to, you can also create variants with these assets so that you can find the perfect match and tone of voice and for your campaigns. For your content optimization, AI can handle the repetitive parts of SEO optimization and image description, from filling metadata to open graph tags. With our established content classification tools, AI recognizes in tags, text, and images to improve content discoverability and search performance. And now, talking about AI personalization, we believe this is a really strong use case and is a lot of potential with AI. We currently support components personalizations already. With this feature, authors will create content only once, and then we'll let AI generate all the variants for the different segments they're targeting. And finally, our latest addition is with the integration of ChatGPT in our extended translation module. You'll speed up translation workflows with real-time output in any needed languages. So as we said just a few minutes before, all of these AI capabilities are already available and aim to accelerate delivery, reduce repetitive tasks, and help your team focus on higher value work. So to summarize, the advantages of the AI accelerator are just basically these three principles. We don't see the accelerator just as a tool, but it's a strategic enabler for your business. So first, the accelerator enables you brand specific at any time. So Magnolia won't be generic. It's shaped to your brand, your company data, and your audiences. So what's generated always feel like it's tailored to you and your audience. Later in the session, the guys will show you how this works in practice using Bragg, so that you can see how your own content and data sources will help to guide how you create content tailored to your needs. Secondly, is embedded in your content workflows. So you don't need to jump on external tools or copy and paste from external tools to Magnolia. The AI features will show exactly where you need it in the editorial workflow. It helps you refine content on the fly, saving you precious time from switching context. And thirdly, it gives you freedom because you can use the AI model that you trust the most or that you have chosen. You can swap them as needed or introduce AI gradually without a big upfront commitment. This basically means that you can adopt AI at your own pace. So these three principles, we believe, are what makes the AI accelerator powerful and practical, especially for partners and clients like you who need to tailor solutions for different projects and different use cases. So finally, before I hand it over to Chris, is one last important slide. So as we just covered, we know Magnolia's core strengths are also about flexibility and extensibility, and this also applies on how you can integrate your AI. Here you can see a sample of the AI services that you can work on already with Magnolia. And I'm sure you recognize some of these names: ChatGPT, Claude, Flux, and others. All of these are going to be connected to one unified UI, comfortably embedded in the workflows that your editors already know. And of course, if you're working with a custom module, you can plug that into. So why is all this important to you? It's because it means you're not locked in and that you can choose the best tools for your needs. And Magnolia makes them work together for you. And with that, I'll hand it over to Chris, who will talk you through use cases. Over to you.
Thank you.
Right. So I'll take you through now some use cases, some demonstrations of how we can actually use the Accelerator. The first thing that I want to talk about is something that we won't actually see because it's hidden away, but there is a new set of registries now inside Magnolia. Alongside dialogues and templates, there's a registry for AI models. This is how Magnolia knows which services you want to use, and it knows which requests it's going to route where. So you're not committed to using the same service for everything. You decide what's best for you, what's best for your clients, and you wire those in. Why do we do this? Because the registry now allows us to use the services that we want and to connect securely. If we want to use private models, we can plug those in. If we want to do it cheaper and use public ones, we plug those in. You decide what is best. So we need to cover off some basics now. The idea of how do we issue instructions to an AI model. So this is through a prompt, and a prompt can look like lots of things. We can ask a model a question, and we get back a long-form answer. We can give a task to a model, and we can say, I need you to summarize, and we get back lists of bullet points. Or, and this is very useful within Magnolia, is we can ask a model to masquerade as somebody and use its understanding of what is that person. So we can say you're a marketing director, and it's going to use its learning to try and consider things from a particular viewpoint. And this is key to personalization that we'll see. Working with AI prompting requires new ways of thinking. And the big issue that we have is as engineers, we're used to determinism. We tell the software to do something, we know what's going to come out again. An AI model does not behave the same way twice. It's in no way deterministic. So if we consider perhaps it's more like an artist, we know we're going to get different things out. This means we have to think differently when we work with it. We have to deal with the vagueness of this, and we have to refine our prompts. So what we've learned is the more detail we put in, the more we get out. And that is why we have a bit of a demonstration of what we've learned. If we use an image generation tool and we ask it for a picture of an astronaut, we might get back this sort of childlike drawing because it doesn't understand the context in which we're thinking. We need to give it more. So if I'm thinking for my blog article, I need a photo of an astronaut, I need to say so, and I'm going to get that back. I get this back and I think, this isn't really what I wanted. I was thinking of sort of a full-length shot. Again, I need to specify what I'm after, and I can get that back again. And I can build up on this. I can specify different colors of things. And as my prompt gets bigger, I can ask for more and more daft things. As long as I tell it what I'm after, it will respond with what I'm looking for. Why does this matter in Magnolia? We have built what we describe as hyper prompts. This allows you or people that you work with to refine these prompts and then store them within Magnolia. We don't need to retrain Magnolia editors to understand how to use these prompts. We can do that for them, and then we provide them and say, here are the prompts for you. You can use these to get your work done. So if we do a demonstration of how this looks in Magnolia, we'll just go through 3 examples of prompting in Magnolia. As Laura said, we've integrated it as best we can. We have a new content app for us to work with these prompts. So down here, I just have some examples here, and we'll take a look at how they work. So in Magnolia, we can define our prompt here. And we just put the text in that we want to submit to a model, and we have a test button down here that we can check how things are working. So if we say I need a welcome message for a presentation on AI for business, I can ask a model for that, and I get back a piece of text at the bottom here. So I can work in here, I can refine this, and I can make sure, is this going to give the kind of response my editors will need? And then once I'm ready, I save it, and it's locked down, it's within Magnolia for other people to then fire off. This, on its own, is not very useful. It's not really reusable for different events, for different things. So how do we make code reusable? Is we would add variables to it. So we've done that within Magnolia. We've introduced this placeholder syntax here. So I can work out the right prompt and then leave it for the editors to fill in the blanks for what they're trying to achieve. So in this case now, I've said I need this welcome message, but I'm going to be in a particular place at a particular time. So I can say I'm in Basel, and it's June, and I can test out that prompt. In the preview, I can see that the variables are filled in for me. So I can always see exactly what I'm submitting. Magnolia is not adding any secret source in here and sending that off as well. It's submitting what you want it to submit. And I can see that my prompt comes back, and it's paid attention to what I've asked for. It's recognized I've mentioned Basel. It's recognized about June. And we should see, there we go, the sunny weather. Obviously, it doesn't know what it's actually like out there, but it should be quite sunny today. And that should have been a good fit. So this becomes more useful when we can add these variables in. But it doesn't address that sometimes variables are quite long. I think Jan mentioned this yesterday. People need to be able to lock down tone of voice. They need to be able to expect a response that fits with their business needs. And we can do that as well. So we can have the same prompt and we can say, right, I need you to mention where we are and when. And I can add in a reference. And the syntax here is slightly different, but we tell Magnolia through the prompt, this is a reference. In this case, it's a reference to a persona that we've stored within Magnolia. So if we do the same thing and we say it's Basel in June, I can now come and browse through some personas that I've saved, and I can say my audience will be these Dev Days attendees. So I can choose this, and I can see through the preview that I've described what I think is a Dev Day attendee. They're interested in technology, they're educated professionals, and I can submit this as well. So when I know the kind of language that I want, like we said before, if we prompt the model correctly, we're going to get back a more usable response. And in this case, it's understood what we've talked about industry, and it's not dumbed down its language. We've got a sort of a technical response that we can drop in. So when we're happy with these, we save these. They're available for people to access through the Magnolia UI to fire off when they need to. So why have we done this? It's for this reason of consistency in branding, consistency in tone of voice, and it reduces training costs. Once they're done, they're saved, they're available to people to fire off. Nobody has to learn how to address the model correctly. So far, those examples there, they're using fresh content. We're just sending off some text. But a lot of people will have existing projects that they want to add AI into. This is not just for fresh projects. So what we can do is a technique known as retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. This is where we take a model which knows a lot, but it's not all-knowing. It doesn't have our domain knowledge about the industry in which our customers are operating. They can submit their data and teach the model extra things when the prompt is sent through. So there's a diagram that explains here some typical things Magnolia might integrate into a PIM or a CRM system. We can take that data into Magnolia at the minute. We have a suite of connectors and integrations. So why don't we take that data and include that in our prompts? So if we see what this looks like, we'll take another prompt, and this time we'll use some data from an outside source. In this case, it'll be a product catalog hosted inside Commerce Tools. So here we have another prompt up here. We see the prompt here is that we're going to ask for a bit of sort of blog content about the creative process of making a piece of furniture. So we're going to submit the name from the product catalog, and we're going to submit the description that we've got saved and ask the AI model to augment this for us. So we can come down here, we can browse into Commerce Tools. We've got a catalog set up, and I've got this walnut dining table in here. So again, I can see the preview of what's going to be made available. We're going to send in the product name. We're going to send in this very simple description that we've got, and we're going to fire that off and see what comes back from that. There we go. So it comes back here. We can see that it's talking about the things that we asked about. We're asking about the material that it's made from. It's recognized from the description that it's made from walnut wood, and then we can see it's added some extra text on there about why walnut is a good choice for a piece of dining furniture. So we're getting some quite useful content now, but not based on things that are known to everybody, just based on things from our product catalog that we've added into the data. So why do we do this? We do this because it helps us to differentiate. If everybody has access to the same models, everybody ends up with the same content. So let's add in the extra things that we have, that our customers have, and we can get back richer, more useful prompts. And we hope that this is going to reduce costs, because this content doesn't have to be re-entered. Somebody's already put it into a product catalog. We'll just pull it out and we'll pass it through. So Magnolia has a composable hub in the middle of operations. So for some use cases now, actually using these tools that we've seen, we've created the idea of working as a marketing manager for a travel company, and I've got a list of things to do. Somebody has built a very basic landing page about visiting Mallorca. I've got 4 jobs to do. So one, I need to think about personalizing this content. We've got some business segments defined, and we need to give them reasons to go and visit this place. Number 2, the work has to be visually appealing. So we need to generate some new imagery to go into there. It needs to rank well in search results, so we're going to think about SEO, we're going to generate some metadata, and finally we've got this request here to keep the conversation going. So what we're going to do is we're going to generate a blog article to accompany this, and we're going to get that published and try and drive some more traffic in. So our first request on there about personalizing content. We have added AI into Magnolia's existing personalization tools so that it appears seamlessly, it's available for people to use without a second thought. So if we see what that looks like, we'll come in to Magnolia. In our Pages app, we can see I have my landing page here. What I'm interested in is this piece of text here, reasons to visit. We've gone for a broad approach with 3 different sort of topic areas, but we need to drill down and expand on one of those. So first off, we go out, as we do currently inside Magnolia, we have our segments defined. And in here, I've identified a group of people who are history fans. We said that, so they are seasoned travelers, perhaps they're slightly older, they're interested in historical sites, museums, and we said they're not interested in beaches or shopping. So now, we come back to the page with that data in mind, we can select our component. And alongside the existing tools to add variants, we have a new command down the bottom here to generate a variant. So we click on this, and we're asked, well, who am I generating this for? So we can say this is for our history fan segment. And now all we do is we ask Magnolia to generate the variant for me. So this is taking a prompt that we've pre-built. It's taking the content that's in the page. It adds in our audience information. And we can see we come back now with some more relevant text to these groups. So it's focused in on cultural immersion. It's talking about those galleries because we said that they are of interest. And it's included some information here. Again, using its own learning, its understanding that it knows about interesting places that would appeal to somebody interested in history. So we, as the editor, we can review this. We can check that this is good. It hasn't gone haywire and just imagined things. Perhaps we need to go and do some fact-checking. But if we're happy with that, we can simply say, create variant. This will then be stored inside Magnolia. We'll see the standard variant selector will come up here. And now we've got our different versions stored within Magnolia. So this might be for a mail shop campaign, social media, it could be cookie-based. When Magnolia detects this fits the framework for a history fan, we're going to surface this content in front of them instead. Typically, the barrier to people doing this at the moment is the amount of time that it takes to keep on rewriting content. If we can do this in a couple of seconds, we can do this repeatedly, we can start to personalize a lot of content. At the minute, those that do it are perhaps doing it for little segments, just a little bit here and there. So that's our main driver. We know that people want to personalize content to serve to people. We know that the consumers of that content want to have a personalized experience. This lets us do it quicker. And if we just take the same amount of time, we use AI, we can do it for many, many more people. So the next task that we had on our list of things to do was to add some imagery into that landing page. For this, we have a new tool. This is Magnolia's AI image editor, and this is integrated into the DAM. So if we take a look at some things that we can do here, we can generate original images. We'll do a bit of brief image manipulation, and then we'll combine some existing stuff to come up with this composite image that we can add into our homepage. So, as we said, it's integrated into the Magnolia DAM. There's a new action in the action bar to launch the editor. And we can see we have a blank canvas, and we can go from there. So we want a banner image, so we'll just change the shape of the canvas we're going to work on. And we see we have an action in the right-hand side here to generate an image. This gives us a glimpse of the model registry that we talked about. We've configured 2 different Flux models that could be used to answer this response. So now I decide, well, I'm going to go with the Pro one, but we may have learned different models are better for different types of images. That's for people to work out what suits them best of all. So now I can say, well, I want a picture of a beach at sunset. And I can ask for that to be generated. Image generation is slower than text generation at the minute. We've seen text generation has sped up immensely, so we assume that image generation is only going to get faster, but it can take a few seconds. So we've got our beach picture, and we think, right, that's quite useful. We can start to work with that. It's generic enough, but it's not very appealing to our different groups. And we saw, as well as our history fans, we had our active travelers. So let's try and add something a bit more exciting into this image. So we can ask to generate another image, and it will just be layered on the top. So let's say I want to add a hot air balloon in there as well. So we'll ask for it to be against the clear sky, and we'll see why in a second. So we'll send that off to be generated, and we'll have the two images layered on top of each other. We'll just see what comes back. There we go. That's good. We can take that balloon image, but if we scale it down a little bit, we'll see the immediate problem is how do I fit that balloon into the sunset sky because it's got a blue background. I could send this off to a team of art workers, or I can use in our imaging toolbar down the bottom here, you'll see we've got some additional prompts that we've added. We can send that image back to where it came from and say, no, I need you to do something else to it. In this case, I want you to remove the background. Alexander will show you later on how you can add your own actions in there, and this depends on what your customers, what your clients, what do they want to do with their images? Are they looking to enhance things, to change the filtering on things? They can add that in with a prompt. So we'll say, right, I want you to take the background off of that balloon image, and we should see that comes back, so that's quite useful. So we'll just stick that over on the side there. This is looking better. This is looking more useful. I could start to put this into my page, perhaps. The thing that's missing is I want to be able to brand this image as well and put my Magnolia Travel logo in the corner of here. The problem, what we're finding, is that AI models are not very good at the fine details, perhaps, of logos. It takes a lot of detail to specify Pantone colors, ratios, and things like this. It's much easier at this stage to use the integration into the DAM and say, I want to add an asset into there that I already have. So we can simply browse into Magnolia and say, I've got a corporate logo stored in my DAM already. I want to use that. So that's now added in as another layer. So I'll put that underneath the balloon. There we go. It's a bit of a quick job, but that'll do. That'll be my new banner. So the final thing that I can do now is I have up in the corner here, save as asset. And this allows me to now put that into the DAM. So we'll save that in our Mallorca folder, and we'll call it New Banner. So that's done. That's now saved inside Magnolia. I can go back to my landing page, and I can say, right, I just want to change the banner here, swap out that background image. There's my new banner. It's ready and waiting for me. Save my changes. There we go. I've now ticked off the next job on my list. I've updated the imagery on my page. So why are we doing this? We think the benefit is quite obvious, that this saves a lot of time, this saves a lot of money as well. You're not licensing images from Getty, you're not having these things professionally worked. Where it works for you, you can use image generation to do things much, much quicker. And if you're interested in personalizing, you can start to personalize imagery in the same time it takes you to personalize text. So the next requirement that we had on our list was to think about SEO metadata for our landing page. So we've added in these black boxes that we see here. We now have the same Magnolia text fields that everybody knows, and we've got AI tools that connect into them. So if we see how this looks, we'll generate some metadata for our page. This is very, very quick. We go up to the standard page properties dialog. We'll sit under this metadata tab here. Nothing's been added in. But we click on the black button, and we have a list of different things available to us. This box has been configured. It only allows people to do one thing, and that's to fire off a prompt that we've written to generate SEO keywords. So we say, right, I need some keywords for my page. I can click on here. This will include the page content with the prompt and say, right, find the keywords in here. So beaches, Mediterranean travel, this is quite good. We'll have this. And we can do similar things. We can ask for a brief description of the page as well. So I can send this off, and I get back that rough description of what is the page about. If I save those changes now, they're now locked down in the metadata. We've got that ticked off the list. This is a very quick job. Why are we doing this? Because doing this for hundreds of pages is incredibly dull. We want to take away the repetitive work and allow people to focus on writing interesting content. So we save time, we let people focus on better things. One thing that's worth pointing out here as well is for sort of public-facing search like Google, obviously they have the ability to find keywords and descriptions, and possibly they're ignoring this anyway. Where this is particularly useful, if people already have internal search indexes, you can now add the AI enhancements onto that search, so people don't have to work this out manually. We can ensure that content that goes into that search index has a relevant description and keywords added into it already. So the final task that I had was this requirement that I drive a conversation about reasons to visit Mallorca. And the requirement was that I write a blog article about this. So for this, we have some content creation tools. And what we're going to see is something more like a conversation. We're going to ask the model to generate for us a skeleton of our story. And then we're going to see those text boxes again with some more commands in them that allow us to have a conversation with the model and send the text back and forth and try and fine-tune what we're after. So let's jump into the demo here. And again, this is integrated into existing stuff. If you've seen the Stories app using the content editor framework, you'll know what this is going to look like. Instead of saying, add a story, we use a different action. We say, I want you to generate a story. So here we can see, right, which prompt do we want? We've got one in here about personalized blog posts. And it's going to say, right, what's the topic? So we're going to say the topic is reasons to visit Mallorca. And we're going to be asked for a segment. So these are the segments that we defined already. We saw our history fan. I've defined an active traveler in here as well. We can see here the preview, and this needs a little UI tweak. But we can see here, write a blog article about reasons to visit Mallorca for, and in comes our segment here. Now, these people are interested in thrills, extreme sports. They're less interested in the scenery. So we'll submit that now, and we'll say, well, generate an outline for me. So we just see in the prompt there that this has been configured to send this to OpenAI, but again, it can be anything that's in the registry. And we get back our rough draft, our skeleton of the article, topics that we're going to talk about. So we say, right, this is quite good. We know that water sports are great. It's an island destination, but just this handful of words, this is not enough. I need to expand upon this. So as we hover on the text, we see here the same AI text-filled menu that we saw before. And we have a lot more options available to us in here. And what we want is this action here to expand. So we saw where we can put those variables into the prompts. And we say, right, I need about 120 words on water sports. Confirm. The text will flash blue while it gets sent back again. And we see it gets expanded. We can build up our blog article this way. All of this text is still editable, so I can collaborate with the system. It's not just going to generate everything for me and say, there you go, there's your article. I can work back and forth. I've got other options in here as well. I can ask it, I need you to simplify this text. It's a little bit too complicated for my intended audience. Or I have here the hyperprompts, and this takes me back to what we saw at the start where I had my stored prompts. So if I know that often for my client, I need to think about their particular tone of voice, a problem that they have, I can write a prompt for them and drop it into Magnolia for them. They can launch it from inside here. So with my story done, I can save that. I would expand on all the other bits. It goes straight in to the Stories app, and now that's available for me to publish. Or perhaps I send it through the standard review process. Having edited it myself, I can send it off for a publisher and approver to take a look before it goes out as well. It's integrated into the same workflows that we have right now. So with that done, that's the final bit of my requirements. I was able to tick through all of those boxes. So what we've seen, why are we doing this? Because we know that AI can speed up content creation. Drafting that article would have taken me far longer than just the couple of minutes that I've done now. I can get my content out very, very quickly. I can respond to new trends. I can respond to current affairs by getting content out super, super fast. So that would complete everything on my list of things that I was required to do. I've got my landing page enhanced, I've got my blog content, and it's taken me a couple of minutes to do all of that content. I hope that's a useful example of some of the things that we can do with the Accelerator. I'll hand you over to Alexander now, who will tell you a little bit more about the architecture and how you can start to add your things into this. Thank you very much.
So thanks, Chris, for giving the overview and showing all the magic that you can do out of the box in the AI Accelerator. And I'm now going to give you a dive in how this magic works below. And then also like what are the configuration points so that you can have this kind of matching available in the custom way that you need it. And then later on, I will hand over to Christian Ringele, who will then like make you do the things on your own. So glossary, first just setting the scenes quickly so that we use the same wording. We agree on the wording. We have AI model. We sometimes just call it model, artificial intelligence model trained for a certain purpose. Context, information, data, knowledge that you pass the model through the prompt. An LLM, right? Model trained to understand human language. Output, human language. For example, the ChatGPT models. Foundation model, like which is the basis for example, a language model. But models can also be different models. You have here not only seen language models, you have also seen image models to generate image, background removal models. And then an important point is the model provider, or AI service, or AI vendor, so services that make AI available for you. So this gets important in the discussion because we have an approach for vendor selection so that you choose the LLM, the models you want to use to. After we've set the terminology, let's just quickly go through the basics. Model training, what's training? You have a data, you have an amount of data, you train it. There are various ways to train model, various approaches. You have natural language understanding, old approaches like bags of words and newer transformer architecture. We are not going to dive into that, but yeah, you have data, you train it, you have a model, the data is in the model. Then you can say, actually, I have additional knowledge or additional different language or different features that I want to be present in my AI. How can I add that? How can I customize it? One way is fine-tuning. So where you say you have custom data and you continue to train the model with this data and you are fine-tuning it and you have a fine-tuned model, which is a quite, it's a tedious approach. It's a bit of an expensive approach. It's a way how to bring additional data into it. Drawback, you have your data changes, you have new products, you need to bring those in, you have to fine-tune again. Generation, prompt, you send a prompt to a model, you've seen it in the example, you generate a response. It can be text, can be an image. And now the alternative for the generation, there's RAG, retrieval augmented generation that you've seen it, it's an alternative, like I said, to fine-tuning. So instead of training the data into a model, you would add this to the prompt. So that in the prompt, the information is there, the model can use it. And it's a cost-efficient alternative to fine-tuning, and also you can say that there are research papers about it. It's proven to have less hallucination than fine-tuning. So those are the fundamentals. Then AI providers. What are AI providers? Those are like OpenAI, FallAI. You have seen FallAI being used here with the Flux models that they serve. Amazon Bedrock with many models, and Anthropic, for example. Google models, Azure AI. So those are like the supported AI providers which you support out of the box. There are others, Hugging Face, IBM, XAI, which can be tweaked in, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And basically, AI providers is like you choose which vendor you want to bring the model, and potentially you can also host the model yourself. So now we are going to dive into the Accelerator module and talk about the important topics here. And here you see AI registries. You have seen the same slide, almost the same slide already before. I think it was your part, Laura. Or was it? No, it was Chris's part, yes. And if you see a slide twice, it could mean the guy creating the presentation, me, made a mistake, or the topic is important. And here it's the second case, I hope no. The topic is important because the AI registries are the gateway to AI. So with AI registries, in the Magnolia, you do a vendor selection, you choose which AI is used, which AI models, which AI tasks are used, and now I'm going to dive into what are AI models here, what are AI tasks, and how are they used and configured. Before I do that, a quick overview over the Magnolia Maven modules. We have a core component, we have a UI component that brings many of the UI things that you've seen here, like the story generation, the AI-assisted text field, which is these loads of buttons that you can use to execute prompts, to summarize, to change the tone, the persona. The image I/O for image operations, the image editor that you have seen, OpenAI, FallAI, AWS, Azure AI, Gemini. Those are all AI providers, so you hook in one of those and you have the models available out of the box. Like you bring FallAI in, you have the FallAI models available that you have configured out of the box. You bring OpenAI in, you have access to the OpenAI model. Azure AI, you have access to all the models hosted by Azure AI. The AI Accelerator, quick overview over the architecture. We have components up there, features, the assisted text field, the image editor. We have dialog fields, contents app. We AI-assisted text field can do a lot of things, just a fraction here, extend text, you can rewrite text, and you can bring your own plugin. So you can add your own feature there, image editor, generate asset, remove background, compose image, or bring your own tooling in there as well. And that will come later, how you do that. Then going down the road, you have agentic workflow or task execution to do component variation, variant generation, full page generation, story generation that you have seen in a nice presentation just before, custom prompt execution as you see, image generation, where you then actually do it like call it text-to-text generation interface behind the scene or an image generation interface. And then further down the road, you have the models that actually use, or the APIs that then facilitate the models, which potentially is your own chosen LLM or own model. So now you will see a few slides that cover the same topics from different perspectives. It's about the AI registries that we have and the data and configuration that is in our AI registries. So the slides cover the same topics from slightly different angles, with the intention that at the end you have the full perspective around these topics. So we have an AI task, which can contain a model adapter, which is using an AI model, and at the same time we have an AI task, which is an AI task type. So what's all that? An AI model for us in the registry, it's a collection of parameters that you can send to a model or receive from a model. And we store that in the AI model registry. An AI task is used to execute simple or complex logic and at the end invoking the AI model. So AI tasks is like the gateway for AI execution. And the AI tasks are registered in the AI task registry. Then we have the concept of the AI task types. An AI task type, that's a grouping of AI tasks. So you have similar tasks for the same code, you can group them. Why do you want to group them? Because you might code a front end where you say, I want to do here, you have an image, you have a JS app, something like the image editor, and say, now I want to remove background from an image. And so you can find all the tasks that do this operation. So you can show to the user, make all them available for selection. And it has a further task to do. The task type has a further reason why it exists, and it's defining input and output parameters, which we then use to automatically fill parameters. So it's sort of an interface, an API. Then last but not least, we have a model adapter. The model adapter, it doesn't have its separate registry. It lives on the AI task, and it's used to do transformation. Because a lot of models, AI models, if you're a language model, you send a prompt and you get text back. But when you go to image manipulation, you have different models, they have different parameters, different structures, different names. So this model adapter is here to do the translation. You define a set of parameters in the AI task, and you then, with the help of the model adapter, translate parameters. So, now, you have seen the demonstration before of the AI image editor where we would do image generation, and we use this here as an example to explain what's happening here. So I'm pressing the button to generate an image. What happens? I'm going to collect all the tasks that are of the type generate image. If there is just one, I pick that. If there are multiple, allow the user to choose between them. Then I will look what models are available for this task. If it's just one, okay, that's the one I'm going to execute. If that's multiple, like what you have seen before on the screen, I allow the user to choose. Then I know from the task definition the required input parameters for the task. I know the required model parameters, and I know what model adapter is there, so I can identify any missing parameters and can make them available for the user to in a form, so required parameters, he has to fill it. If everything is set, like image generation, it's just a prompt, send it, call the API, model generates it, output comes back, and I display here the image added to the image composition. So, what happens where? We have two worlds in Magnolia, as you know. We have the Java side and you have the light development side. On the light development side, I have the AI task definition in the AI task type registry, where I define input, output for an AI task. AI task. I have this also on the light development side where I define the task, and then on the Java side where I do the actual implementation. And the actual implementation is the actual business logic, like additional data retrieval, execution of the model, may potentially also multiple execution steps of a model after each other. Then we go to the AI model. We also have a model definition on the light development side, where we define input-output of a model. And then we have a Java side implementation. And you can see the Java side implementation on the level of a model provider. So we have, for example, one AI model implementation for OpenAI, one for Azure OpenAI, one for Flux, for Fall AI, where we use the Flux models, or for Bedrock, AWS. And yes, that's it. And then often, we use it, and I recommend if you start to do your own implementation, use the powerful REST client from Magnolia. So you have a REST client definition as well that allow you to inject the API keys, etc. when you do the actual call. So here, you have the link, light development to the Java development shown. Let's now look into how this looks like if you configure something like that. If you configure an AI model, you would define the type, which links to the actual Java implementation. So that's where you link to your model provider. You define the input parameters. You define the output parameters. You have a lot of different properties available. You can read about all that in the documentation. You can say whether a parameter is required or not. You can give a human-readable description to it that can appear in the forms then for the user. You can make it hidden. You can set default values. AI task type, which is optional, but in some cases makes sense. Like if you have multiple tasks that do implement the same task, you define input and output parameters the same way. So with an AI task type, we can give a selection of different. What happened now? Okay, sorry, that was my mistake. Give a selection of different tasks that all do image generation, or from the code side, fill the parameters automatically because you have a definition, you have an interface. You know what input parameters are there, so you can fill them programmatically. You know what output is there, so you can read the data, for example, base64 image data. AI task. On the light development side, you have a task name, task type, same thing. You link it to an actual Java implementation. You have a model reference. So you can say, okay, I want to execute it with that model. In the Accelerator, you can define a default model. So all AI tasks will be executed against that. But you can say, this task, I want to specify the model, exactly that model. Or you can go a step further and say available models. You give a list of models, and the user can then choose. There are cases, especially in image generation, where you want to be able to choose because you know one model works well for that case, another model works better for that case. Or a model here in the case of Dev and Pro from Flux is expensive and slower, or cheap and quick. Yeah, just a tip. You don't need to repeat the parameters that are already defined in the task type. Model adapter, this is part of the AI task. So in the AI task, at the bottom or top, you decide you can list a model adapter in case that the parameters from the models are different to the parameters of the task. This happens because there are a lot of vendors out there. There are a lot of vendors creating AI model, and the hardest thing in programming is defining variable names. And so people come up with different variable names, not always aligned, different JSON structures that you have to pass, and here, this mapping comes into place where you map from one parameter to another. And with Mapper, you also have the opportunity not just to write one value to a different name and keep the structure. You can also do transformations. That's where Mapper come into place. We have just a small set of mappers that we needed, but you can easily write your own mappers to transform one JSON structure in one format to another format, for example. So the AI extension, AI Accelerator extensibility, we have the light development, we have the Java world, we have the AI models, the configuration of them, the configuration of the required parameters, We have the tasks, we can use existing backend tasks, we map the parameters to the model with a model adapter. We have the task types where we group the kind of tasks, what can they do, and also define the interface. We have the configuration. And then on the Java side, we have the actual implementation. For example, we say we have a llama locally. We can write an implementation, how we can talk against Olama locally, for example. The task, the actual implementation, the Java side, which have kind of complex business logic, retrieve data from different systems, multiple calls to an AI model, and then write custom mappers, so which translate payload in one format to another, like from a proprietary format that one model outputs to like a base 64 format. Yes, and with that, that was the dry part. You had the fun part with Chris, the dry theory now, and now, guess what? We jump over to another fun part with Christian Ringler.
Test, yes, microphone is working. So yeah, it is called a workshop, so that was quite a lot of theory and dry part. So we really want to, the goal is that you can do hands-on. I mean, I will demo things, but what I demo quickly in a very fast way is actually what you can then do. So in the end, prepared in 2 weeks a base project. You can just by MGL Jumpstart download. So any machine which can do MGL Jumpstart, and I hope that's most of your machines, can then just basically jumpstart it. And you get the API keys provided. You can work yourself through hands-on. So basically, it's first getting all up and running. Then what I call hands-on is really where you add new things basically into the system. So you add new imaging tools into the image editor. You can add new assist text field, an example, an extension, and into the hyperprompt, a new little micro rack, as I call it, over REST. And then we have some tryouts. I mean, generating a page, a story, playing with it. That's just way less instruction-led. So this will also be the base then of the regular workshops we will do, but it will grow a lot. I mean, that was just a quick doing in 2 weeks. So the project behind it will grow with the code base and examples and everything. So basically, probably showing like that. So basically, we use a specific project template for the Jumpstart, which just downloads the AI Travel Demo web app. So it's a web app, you get all the code base, you can also check it out, it's all read open, and then really look at the Accelerator code base of that code base, and it basically gets that demo, which uses Travel Demo, has the Accelerator on top of it, and the examples I added, and things you can get out of that project. So an additional plugin will then be installed. I think it's an interesting plugin. I had the idea for this workshop to get very fast some base configurations into your machine, into the light modules. So maybe you know it, all these hybrid light modules bundled in a jar, which are loaded from ClassPath, really hard to quickly adapt them on local tryouts. You need in the resource files app to copy it and all these, or decorate in. So actually, Scott Rhodes created here a nice plugin, which I will use in the future for myself. So you can just extract from a jar an inside hybrid into the file system, into light development, and then can just change and try out the configurations. Show nothing for live, but for local tryouts. So basically, the whole thing, when you jumpstart, I already jump-started it and started it. So basically, at the end, it installs this plugin, additional plugin, using the template, getting that project and starting it up, and then it's ready to be started. So, back here. So maybe I do it there. So in the end, you use the Jumpstart, then you get an initial, I cannot easy clock it in. So basically, let me go here. So second then is, you just drop basically that command. So generally, as you know it, the project is empty, light modules is empty. You just drop that command and it extracts the base configuration you need to get everything up and running. So now I have in my project, so that's what we want to do after the break. So I quickly demonstrate that you're ready to go after the break and really do that on your machine. have the code base. We come to your places, help you. We look at code, discuss code, look how you can get the things running. So we have the base configuration ready. AI models is just a base model in it, a dummy model not doing anything, and the configurations we need to add. So yeah, next step, I can just go to 3, download now an OpenAI model, add it into the project, into that configuration I just got, and now I register a valid model and need to make it now my default model. So yeah, that's the way how you really do in a project. You decorate it into the core and say, hey, into the AI Accelerator core, into the model configuration, use now that model I just added into, so the model I just added, so use that as the default model. So it will be the default model for prompts. If you don't choose another model to use. Now I need the API keys for Fall AI and OpenAI. So the Fall AI we use for the image generation. So again, in this Confluence workspace where you get access to, here at this. So the start is really, if you just start here, you have the overview. That's the starting point in here, what I'm showing. So basically I also have here the license if you need one, and the API keys is below it. So yeah, I just get now the OpenAI key, easy like this, add it to the OpenAI. Without keys, nothing will work. So they should be charged with enough money for today. And yeah, we thought we keep all that stuff like a week open. I mean, it's just after break, an hour, probably a bit more, that you can also play more with it today, tomorrow, and so on. So we keep all that open for you guys for like around a week and see how much of the money gets drained. So now the Fall AI key. So the keys are ready. Not needed to look at, but it's also worth things you usually then add into the Accelerator UI, what are supported fields, available templates, available components. So in these hands-ons, these things are explained. And of course, that's the things you can ask us. Why can you choose here this component? What do I want to make available on page generation, and so on. So I just used from the training material, some simple templates. And now we are ready up to go. And let's test it. So I should be able now to choose to generate an image. So as I missed the typo, some of you know, I prepared here now, generate me an asset of, let's do it here, let's do the pro. So custom prompt, actually I wanted to do it over the thing, but I can just, so generate me a photorealistic image of a magnolia tree with the sunshine behind. And it seems to work, because if an API key is not found, you get very fast an error, no API key is there, and it created me that image. So that's basically the generate asset, also part of a tryout, and the image editor. So we're ready. Yeah, so basically the whole initial setup has been done. We have the demo for the workshop running, the setup has been done, APIs keys defined, and tested it. So the first thing what you can do, besides other hands-on there of just trying out the image editor, is no, I just closed that, otherwise I go for the trap. So generally in here, the AI image editor, as Chris has shown, has here the toolbars. So I just basically looked at the remove background, which uses a Fall AI image to image model. So I thought, okay, I just go to Fall AI and look a bit more what is there, and then thought, okay, there is a clarity upscaler. So if you just go here and look at what is there available, I have around, no, that's the specific one, sorry, of course, here, image to image. So yeah, found about 170 possible models I could just use. And that's a cool use case of seeing how easy it is now just to add more models. Use more models. We have the integration to Fall AI. I can use, all of these, but here I just want to use image to image. So basically, you can just go here into the hands-on, download the light module. It's zipped. So maybe I add it here on top level into the project. So maybe back here. So here, there is no additional yet. So I go, unzip it, add it to the light modules, refresh, and I have added a new one. So basically, what was added, and that's the thing yet to discuss, to realize, to see, okay, a new model, that's what he's shown in theory, the Alex. A new model has been added. Here's my new model, the flux clarity upscale. Use that in the task. That's the model to use. And just add it basically in the image editor tools, or register a new editor tool and add it via decoration into that menu. So done, just light development. So let me show now what it does. Actually, I prepared here from that original shark image here. I made a cropping to have something with really bad quality of here a little rectangle. So prepared that here, that we really see something on the screen. So very bad quality. I can choose it now and just do a clarity and upscale. So also the pixels will double. On the left side you can see that takes a while, and it did a clarity upscale. So basically that's what we can see. It uses from the backend the manipulate image task, which is basically input-output is base 64, and then you have these parameter transformations of that model gives me back actually then an array and so on. So it's a lot about parameter mappings. So the same with cartoonize. So what you can add, that is then the next. So the same again, not explaining the inner structure. So just using another model to cartoonify things. Move it in, light modules, and I cartoonify now the shark here. Not double click. Once need to do that. And that takes a moment. Did I not add it right? There it is. So cartoonify that shark. Takes a moment for me, the possibility to drink water. So basically the result, that's not Magnolia, that's the models, the different models you use. If you like the cartoonify things, I mean, yeah, not really a business use case. That's why I added this clarify and upscale. I think this is more of a business use case. You have like bad quality images, but there it is. And of course, you can save that then as he's demonstrated. So the other thing I quickly want to demonstrate, and then you deserved the break, just a second thing to show how easy it is to use these assisted text fields and add there a tool extension. So that would be here of the assisted text field part, the last here. So basically, yeah, first you need some dialogue to work from. So again, I just used from the training the free marker. Drop quickly that command, and then I have a light module to work with. So basically it's in the jar, not changeable, but easy to get. And now I just have it in here and can start working. So basically the page dialog of that page, to show it, very simple page dialog. The assisted fields are not enabled, to show how easy it is to enable them. So standard text field. So you can basically say, yeah, okay, I actually want every single text field being an assisted text field. So it's super easy. I can just use from automations UI. So basically now it will automatically, every text field will become an assisted text field. So done, that's like in an app, events app. There's also another thing to touch, super easy, existing app, and boom, all are assisted text field and can already use it. The other thing now is, I want to use SEO, which here is not the case. So SEO is a specific tool to use or specific configuration. So the other way is, I really do each one. So I just toggle them. And now as they really are of type AI-assisted text field, you know, from bean population mechanism, it populates now really the configuration. So hey, you don't on meta keywords, on meta title and so on. I don't want all of them. That doesn't make sense there. I just want now not the default ones. I want to use the SEO metadata tool for title, for keywords, for description. So explicit defining for these three in the second tab and done. And now, so one I missed, voila. So no field, then it won't work. And now enabled, not much work, can generate here as demonstrated. And here, it's the RAG approach. It really reads the whole page, adds it to the prompt, and I have it ready and done. So new tool, also here, super easy to add. That's then this one, the last. So again, a light module, you can just add and unzip. So Shakespeare. So it's a very simple example to see. It's all about the prompt, basically. So what it does, it just adds into the Accelerator UI. Basically, I added now into the default extensions a new Shakespeare block tool, new block tools pointing to the script. And when we look at the script, basically defining the prompt, and here it's really a simple prompt, static prompt, hey, transform it as you were Shakespeare. But you can imagine it's front end, you could call here any other API, get data, do the prompt, in addition, whatever you want, and then in the end here, hey, now call that task, execute the task, generate text, and here you got the prompt, and that's then it. And here going through the backend, and now, if I go back, let me probably take here, where I have a bit more of that component, a bit more text. So now I added the Shakespeare tone tool, and it transforms it into the language of William Shakespeare of that time, and done. So it's really not hard to add more tools. Of course, these tools are for repeating tasks. Do always that, like summarize, shorten, these kind of things. Exactly. That's a preview on what is then meant in the whole hands-on part. It's really a workshop, looking at code together. So up here, remember, you have the license and everything. You have here also the 3 code bases. You can just clone, it's read open, the Accelerator itself and so on, and just start here. So basically, that's what I've shown here with the Cartoonify, and we would be ready for the Q&A before we do the break. And that was the goal. After break, it's really just loose workshop, easy going, no presenting anymore, no squeezing things into your brains.
Hey guys, hello.
So we have
hey, perfect. Thank you very much, first Laura, Chris, Alexander. It's the AI team. I'm also part of the IT team, and we're very happy to answer all your questions, and also in the later stage, maybe get feedback, plans on what you want to do with the AI, and we are happy to answer everything for you. Yeah. Do you have any questions? I'm sorry.
Are you keen on the break? That is on the recording?
I am.
So yesterday we were talking about planning to implement the hybrid DAM file, so we can have metadata in the DAM and asset externally, for example, in S3. And with the image generation, work with this approach?
So currently we're a bit limited to what we have in the DAM. So storing the asset is limited to the DAM. We can read, like for image manipulation, we can read basically cloudinary and all external DAM. But with the new approach, we will be able to store it in the hybrid as well.
Do these new fields like use the accessible fields that are like the new React-based form fields?
Yes, so what you see is, so part of the new UI is already there. That is based on the design system, which is accessible. And when the new version will come out, we will definitely support all of that in AI Accelerator as well. So, and also what you saw there, I think Topher mentioned that fallback mechanism, right? That will not apply to AI Accelerator, so AI Accelerator will be natively, will be there, yes.
Thank you.
In the AI image generator, can you edit it again, or is it a one-time editing, and if it's saved to the DAM, is it?
What you've seen there, I mean, you have on the top right, you have the possibilities. At the moment, you cannot store it. But those are topics that we're discussing, working on how to facilitate that so that you can store it as a separate content app. Don't know exactly when that will be coming. But what you can do at the moment is at least you can export it and import it again. So if you have a version that you want to continue working on, you download it and you have a JSON file, you upload it in, and you can continue. So that is already possible, not in the comfortable way that we want it to be at the end.
Then I have to talk to the model and say, please move the logo more to the left
side. No. On that level. I mean, there are things on a model, if you generate an image, this image is in that form, right? If you're moving around the logo, as you did, right? You can move this thing around. So if you think it moves a bit more left, you drag it more left, if more right. You have some features that go beyond AI image. It's like layering, so you can create layers. You can add text, you can define colors for text, default colors, brand colors, your fonts, and put text there. You can blur images, blur fonts, add basic rectangular shapes. You can do cropping. So sometimes you generate an image, you crop, then you remove background. And then things that you edit an image with AI, because there are models that start to facilitate that, make this model. So you have seen Flux Context, for example, is a model where you can say you start to refine the model step by step with a little additional prompting, like with a person in a city, you say, and now the city, it has to be winter. It turns into a winter picture, and then said, yeah, now she has to wear a hat. Then the person starts to wear a hat, and there needs to be a cat next to the person because we want to have cats. It's all about cats, right? And yeah, so that's those model exists, and we are very eager to add this functionality also to the image, of course.
Okay, fine.
So all of these tools are for the content editors. Are there any plans to extend that to the user? So, for instance, if you offer a REST endpoint that can make use of the models?
So, I mean, AI Accelerator is all REST-based, so you could expose these APIs to the front end. I mean, that involves a lot of cost possibly, right? So if you give the end user the ability to execute AI, that might be a problem, but you can certainly expose this as a front end.
I would be very interested in your use case, and we would be very happy to discuss this, I think, what ideas you have there.
Have you seen the Claris AI presentation yesterday?
Unfortunately not. No.
Okay, so actually they do stuff like that. So they embed Magnolia content apps into a customer-facing chat interface. That might be interesting for your use case as well.